So what's happening, y'all? Oh, I'm over here. I just ran inside from work and I'm getting warmed up in my robe, honey. It is a cold day in New York. How are you guys doing? I am happy today. I thought today was going to be a terrible day, family, but it turned out to be a great day. I prayed a good amount. I prayed a good part of the day. Like, I'm not even gonna give too much details, okay? Because I don't need to go there. But today was a wonderful day. Um, on my way home, I was thinking like, what am I gonna talk about today? And I was setting up, and I'm like, oh, the last video I was talking about me, um, almost getting kidnapped, child. And so I'm gonna actually talk about that story, about the day that I was about to get kidnapped. I mean, it's not a super exciting story. Um, but anyway, jumping right into it. I hope, first of all, I hope everybody's having a great day, or everybody had a great day, depending on where you are. My name is Cynthia Lahoma, and welcome to the Revelations of a Ranting Sheep. Um, so, scene, Panama, Colon specifically. So during this time, I believe I was in the second grade, and um, there was times where some craziness used to happen. Right now, this is what's considered a third world country. So if you could imagine the things that we may have had to go through. I've mentioned a few things like, water not running, electricity just cutting off at random times, just things like that, you know. Um, and so there were times where strange things would happen that even now I can't even really explain it. It's just kind of something that's in my memory, and I never really questioned like why it happened. So I, you know what? I said second grade, but it was actually the first grade, because in the second grade, I was on the first level. But the first grade, I was on the top level. So this was first grade. And I don't know who, what, when, where, why, girl. I don't know what was happening. I just remember that there were um, gas tanks or gas bombs. I didn't necessarily see the item, but you could see the gas everywhere. And if you've ever visited um, a tropical country, you know that schools, unlike here in the States, even though I think certain like out in maybe out west and in south where it's warmer, schools are built similarly, but I'm not really sure. Anyways, um, in tropical countries, schools are built with an open, how would you describe that? Like an open floor print, I think that's how it's described. Um, Meaning that is not one structure. It's it's a square or a rectangle, most likely a square with an open center for the kids to play, and even the brick layer is the brick is open. It's not compact brick like you have on the East Coast. Because it's hot, right? So you want to have breeze being able to flow in and out of the classrooms. So Um, I don't know who dropped these gas bombs, y'all. I don't know who, but they dropped these gas bombs, and um, I remember being evacuated. The entire school had to be evacuated, and we were not able to go back to the school for about 2 weeks or so after that scenario, or um, after that happened. And we were placed. I don't know if the entire school was placed there, but it doesn't matter. That's minor details. Um, we were Some of us were placed at a high school. I believe it was a high school. I don't think it was a college. It was a high school. And one day during lunch, uh, I remember being outside the classroom playing with my classmates. And okay, so another thing is, unlike here in North America, where you have security guards roaming the schools and all of that, we don't have security guards. You have the entrance of the school, and the very first thing that you would typically see would be the office, where you have the principal, secretary, any staff members, um, um, faculty will be in the classroom or whatever. But that's the first thing that you see. There's no security guards, y'all, unless I'm wrong. Honestly, again, I came here in 98. I was 8 going on 9. Um, and I can't say that my memory is blurred. Like I don't remember ever seeing a security guard, at least in the elementary school. So uh, the schools do have extra exits, for emergencies. And so as I'm outside the classroom playing with my classmates, the classroom that was assigned to us was right near to what is assumed to be an emergency exit that cannot stay closed, right? Because it's an emergency exit. And so I remember vividly. Now, this is the strange part. The strange part is that these two people come in. It was a woman and a man who, to me, looked like my uncle. And um, I don't think she was his wife at the time, but um, his woman that he was with, and who is now his wife. Now, um, I saw that and I thought it was extremely strange because, first of all, nobody is supposed to be coming through that door, that panel, because it's not even a door. Like, it's like I don't know. Again, minor details. So I immediately got startled. I got, did I get startled? I became concerned because it was just strange and it's just not normal. And so I remember running into the classroom, sitting down at my desk and putting my head down. Boom, put my head down, and I was done. As far as recess, I was done. And I remember one of my classmates coming into the classroom after me, telling me, you know, come outside, come outside. These people are looking for you. And I looked at her and I was like, I'm not coming outside. I'm not coming outside. And she insisted, like, but they're looking for you. And I'm like, I'm not coming outside. And I just stayed there with my head down until class started. Now, y'all, I told my mom what happened, and she literally was like sucking her teeth, like that did not happen. And I'm just like, what do you mean it didn't happen? I'm not sure if at the time she said I was imagining things, or that I was sleeping and I dreamt something. Now, I've never been a child. Like, I've always been a little background, just very small. My mom had me when she was 35 years old. I already had, she already had two sons, excuse me. So I already had two older brothers who I've already mentioned are approximately 9 and 12 years older than me. So 77 and 81, 82. Child, he ain't gonna watch this. But they're a lot older than me, by the time I came into the picture. Um, oh, you know what? I'm making him so much older than what he is. It's six and approximately 6 years and approximately 12 years older. I just remembered that my mom had us almost 6 years apart. So my older brother is 6 years from the middle child, and then I'm almost 6 years from the middle child. So 666, almost six, I should say. So that was, yes. So that's our order. So they're a lot older than me. So I grew up around a lot of older people because by the time I started school, my mom is already in her 40s, right? My brothers have their older friends. And then, I have my older brother who's almost 12 years older than me, who is already in high school, almost into college. So I grew up around a lot of older people my entire life. So I have that energy. Like I have that energy of an old soul, some people will call it. But I've always had a different level of understanding than my peers had. And so, with all that being said, if I was dreaming, like obviously, if I was dreaming, I will wake up and realize, oh, it was a dream. But that never happened. And these are the things that before my mom passed, I will constantly bring up and want to talk to her about it because I'm just like, I just don't understand why you wouldn't believe your child. Now, what if she was a younger mother? What if she had me in her 20s and didn't have that wisdom um, in her, or those older people around her that I'll be able to kind of glean from to know not to go to these people? Because you know how many children would have easily been like, oh, it's my uncle and his woman, like, let me go over there. Now, the funny thing about it is that I said that they seemed that way, um, but something was different, which is why I didn't do what a natural child would do, which is go to them. I It seemed that way, but then I was like, something is not right. Besides the fact that they're coming in from the side door, right? Something is just not right. And so I went into the classroom and I didn't go back out. I was really scared to go back out. Um, and my mom swears up and down that it was a dream. And I was just like, but you wasn't even there. And you don't even want to investigate? Like, wow. And it's really hard because video surveillance cameras was not a thing. Like, I don't know if that was even available back then, but it was definitely not a thing. So no surveillance cameras and no security guards. My word against whomever, which I did have the one girl who was coming after me. Nonetheless, that's the story. But the biggest thing about this story for me, every time I think about it, is my mom not believing me and the things that were um, similar in behavior um, throughout our relationship. Just the fact that she will always kind of, shoo me away, like you don't know what you're talking about. And once I turned, once I was in high school, yeah, I want to say definitely high school. High school was really like a no joke type of time for me. Not that I was so serious that I wasn't having or giving myself time to have fun and laugh and hang out and whatnot, because certainly those things were happening. But there was something in me that was just very serious, became even more serious about life in a different way. So in the sense of learning self, like that's when my learning self started to happen. Um, and in doing that, I started to jump into things that I gone through in my childhood. Um, this could easily take me to to an hour, and I already said I'm not gonna do an hour. I mean it, because this is something that really needs to be dug. I need to dig into this a little bit more. I'm super passionate, which I've mentioned before. I'm super passionate about um, understanding children, looking at them and recognizing what it is that they're exuding, recognizing their character, recognizing um, what gets their attention, how they react to certain things. Like, I'm very interested in those things because I was ignored as a child. Um, in fact, the only thing that I can really, like, honestly, the only thing that was that I was really appreciated for was always having information, which I was the youngest, right? And so I'm all up in my brother's business, all of them, both of their business. I'm all up in mom's business. I'm all up in everybody's business because um, you know, it was the 90s. And so can y'all believe I can't believe I was born in the 1900s. 1980. Oh, girl. Anyway, child, I just, I was literally about to, I was about to go deep in my mind just now. Anyways, um, that was an era for some of us where the parent would tell you, first of all, you're always with your, typically the mother, I would think, and they tell you to sit down and be quiet while grown people are talking. Um, and if the only time I was able to actually remove myself was if an adult said, allow Lomita to go with and play with whomever, because they were about to get into it. Also, something that I don't think I've mentioned, yes, my family is from Panama, um, but up to I believe 2 generations. I'm gonna speak for myself because there's extra family, and I'm gonna make it complicated if I'm thinking about the entire family. So for me, let me see. I think for me it's 3 generations on one side and 2 generations on another side. Um, so what I mean is, um, my grandmother, her parents, um, one was from Jamaica. I think her mom was from Jamaica, and her dad was from Barbados. And then on my grandfather's side, um, um, his great grand no, his grandparents, my grandfather's grandparents are from Barbados. So my great grandmother was born in Panama. I think that's how the family tree is. So Barbados, both parents on one side, and then one Jamaican, one Bayesian on my grandmother's side. And then that those people came to Panama, I'm assuming to work on the canal, and they decided to just stay in Colon, which there was um, a huge Caribbean culture in Colon. Because of that, Colonenses, they spoke English. There's for a long time. I mean, when you go now, it's you. Those people are still there, but they're not as they don't speak English as much as back when I used to live there. But they certainly do understand. They're turning that area into they're trying to turn, well, they will, right? Because it's the government. They're turning it into a tourist area. So now the chances are have now been split to 50-50 that you'll be able to find somebody who speaks English. But the chances are huge. Or 50 is a huge number. So anyways, with that being said, in my home, we spoke both English and Spanish. Majority, my mom spoke English to us the entire time back home, but she put us in Spanish speaking schools because you had this huge Caribbean community. We did have the choice of either or parents did have the choice of putting their child into a Spanish speaking school or into a Spanish speaking school. And so, did I say Spanish? Into an English or into a Spanish? Um, so my mom decided to put us in Spanish speaking schools because we were learning English. We already knew English at home because that's the language that we spoke. Um, so I say that to say that um, sometimes my mom's friends would, typically the ones with kids, would say, go play with so and so because they're about to speak English. Whatever gossip they're about to gossip about, they're about to do it in English so that the neighbors don't understand. But they knew that my mom's kids knew English because My grandparents, even though they spoke some Spanish, their main language was English, or was and is English. And so we needed to know English in order to communicate with the extended family. And 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 I'm thinking of one of her particular friends, because I would go play with her daughter, who was my really good friend at the time, and she didn't teach her kids English. So when I would go play with her daughter, all she would want to do is go listen to the gossip. Like, she wanted to know what her mother and her mother's friends, like, what is it that they're out there talking about. And all I wanted to do was play. And I remember one time, um, she asked me to come with her, and I was like, for what? And she was like, well, because I don't understand, but you do. And I was shocked. I was like, you don't know English? Why didn't your mother teach you English? And she's like, I don't know. So she forces me to go there to find out what they're talking about. And they literally was talking, not like, I can't even remember what it was, but I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, they not talking about nothing. Like, all they talking about is that, 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 that. Like, why do you want to know that? Like, they not saying nothing, you know? And I don't know, I guess it was the thing of like, when my mom starts to speak another language, I know it's because she doesn't want me to know. And so I want to know what she's talking about, type of vibe. Anyway, so um so yeah. So I am truly um intrigued because of how I was treated as a child. I'm truly like intrigued and so intentional when I'm around kids, because the thing that I used to say a lot when I was a child is, I don't know what's wrong with adults. They act like they were never kids themselves, Like, you would think that an adult would treat a child better, understanding that, just understanding their own path as a child. So hopefully I'm explaining this right. You went through your thing. You remember that. You keep it in the forefront. And so as you grow up and have children, or decide to have, um, decide to be around children, you know how to maneuver, because you remember, like, oh, at that age, this is how I thought. At that age, this is how I felt. At that age, I knew that there were certain things that I couldn't bear, And so I'm gonna be a little bit more sensitive here. And it was just a struggle with me growing up, because these adults easily turned into their parents and their grandparents. It was this do as I say, not as I do situation. And I'm just like, that's just not how it works. That's not how it works. You tell a child not to do something, and the chances of that child not doing it is honestly 50-50. And who knows if it's even 50-50, right? Because the chances of them doing it is probably greater than that. And so I quickly learned that even with adults, um, we learn from seeing people do, right? Which is why Jesus is our example, because not only did he talk the talk, but he walked the walk even harder than he talked the talk. Like, he walked the walk even harder than he talked the talk. And And that's for a reason. I remember getting so frustrated when my mom couldn't understand me, right? And why she couldn't validate me, why she couldn't believe me. Like it was always like I was making something up and I just never understood it. Now, anyways, I said I was going to share the story. I told you it wasn't a very long story, but that's what happened. And you know what? As mediocre as the story was, we have to find the blessings in that, right? Because I could have had a wild story, like a wild story. And I'm thankful. Ooh, I feel emotions. I'm grateful that I don't. I'm grateful that the story is mediocre and that I didn't get snatched up and that my mom had to pay all this money to find me. And, I'm glad that it wasn't a dramatic situation. Um, I felt that that was a word. Because, sometimes we're so eager to um, create something bigger instead of just being thankful for peace. I'm so thankful for peace. I'm extremely thankful for peace. I don't like chaos. Um, and so when I'm able to share mediocre stories that really didn't have an apex, the drama, all the things, um, I value those stories because I do have so many other stories that have all the drama, which a good amount of my past hurts were due to that. And so that's the story, y'all. Share in the comments what's like the wildest story that you have from being not middle school, excuse me. What is the wildest story that you have from elementary school? So from kindergarten to fifth grade, even though in Panama we go from kindergarten to sixth, I believe. Yeah, we do kindergarten to sixth grade, but because I came up here, I did kindergarten to grade 3. And then I had to come up here and do grade 3 again because I wasn't old enough. What is wrong with America? What is wrong with America? I came in January. I'm not even gonna go there because I've been trying, you guys don't understand, I've been trying so hard not to say when my birthday is because um, Lola and I agreed that we weren't going to say that. We wanted to see as this grows what people think just by seeing us interact with you guys and with other people. Um, but anyways, I've really been trying hard not to say anything that would give that away. Um, Anyhow, for the third time, thank you so much for tuning in. This was a short one. This was a short one. Today was a wonderful day, even though it is brick outside. It is 19. Is it still 19 degrees? Honey, 19 degrees straight through. So guys, wherever you are, stay warm, stay cool. Keep your head up, be positive so that you could attract positivity to you, so that the Lord could pour into you. Um, and this just came in my spirit. It's super random, but it just came in my spirit, so I will say it. When you pick up your Bible to read your daily readings, um, besides asking the Lord to um, open your mind and your heart so that you could understand His words the way He meant for them to be understood, ask the Lord to pour into you, pour knowledge into you, to provide you with understanding and provide you with wisdom. That's something that as a young girl, I used to pray from middle school to high school and even beyond that. I prayed that prayer so hard. I always asked for knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. And, sometimes it's hard to see the growth in yourself. And it's hard to see it because sometimes we're not putting it into practice, or sometimes we're not in situations where that growth can be put to work. But at some point, I started realizing, like, oh, wow, like I really, first of all, there's some things in my brain that I'm just like, sometimes I have to question myself, like, why do I know that? Like, why do I know the answer to that? Like, but again, I'm a researcher. Like, I love to research. Um, but equally, with understanding the things that I'm understanding, sometimes amazes me, and even the wisdom that I'm able to share with my community, with my tribe, um, with my loved ones, whatever you want to title them. Um, it amazes me sometimes. It really amazes me. And once I figured out that I was here to heal people, it kind of all just makes sense, right? It makes sense why that was something that was granted, because it was in alignment with what the Lord had for me anyway. So, yes, I don't know who that was for, but I felt that heavy in my spirit. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I am so proud of myself, okay, because this was a short one. Stay up, stay positive. I will see you next week. Doo-doo-doo.